No one went and look at that quick
Welcome everybody to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I am Eric.
Why are you talking like that? I'm Lord Manny. Hey, Hayes.
Ho ho! I'm always the grand finale. Welcome to the
We're
Sharpshooters
gonna do
Wrestling
some work
Podcast.
today.
You know what, Manny? Because I'm here to clean.
Work.
I'm here to clean the walls, man. I'm here to clean the walls, and
Get to clean the wall.
and then
Gotta do it anyway.
and the greatest thing about it, Manny, I almost forgot to hit the record button after I told you numerous times. I don't want to forget to hit the record button on the podcast, but I almost forgot to hit the button. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing on this Saturday morning for Marcus and I, and evening for Manny?
Is it Saturday? Is it Saturday? It feels like fucking Thursday. I've been working so hard.
But Marcus, you're back to the whole grind that you were when you first started out doing this stuff, and you also are the one that's choosing to work 6 days a week when they would give you 2 days off. But you got to make that money. That's on you, buddy. That's on you. That's on you.
You also chose this work style.
Yes.
You could have not win.
You could have said no.
Wait a minute. You guys don't get to judge me, okay? You guys don't get to pass judgment. You don't get to attack me with facts, okay? Don't attack me with facts, okay? God damn it.
But I mean,
I'm tired enough already. That I'm sitting in a car that's covered in ash. All right? I don't need this.
no, I wanted you to say I'm tired of your bullshit already. That's what I wanted you to say.
I am tired of y'all fucking with me.
Keith Lee.
Y'all knew.
Stop fucking with me. Super Saiyan. The champ is in the building, according to Wes, who is still delusional. But
oh my God!
But he does get the challenge. The person who the ratings are dropping, the current champion, El Luchador.
Oh, they're back up.
They're back up. We had a pay-per-view. They're back up.
He's Shawn Michaels. There must be some rival wrestling podcasts out there that is causing our ratings to drop. But gentlemen, Manny, you never answered the question. How have you been doing the last couple of days? I know people have seen you on Tuesday and Thursday, but this is my first time seeing you guys outside of Thursday.
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I mean, I saw you do a good job of trying to do hosting duties on Thursday because Marcus is, incapacitated.
No, my hosting abilities are so awkward. They improved by Thursday, but they were awkward on Tuesday.
Oh, Manny, it takes time. Trust me, it takes time.
I don't care what Manny says. If he's had whatever shortcomings he's having hosting or whatever, he is doing the damn thing with the production and everything else behind the scenes for the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, and all the DSPN championship stuff. Like, that stuff is really good. Like the thumbnails from the graphics and everything, the ticker.
No.
It's amazing.
Have
you seen the show, Eric?
I have seen the show. I almost wanted to reach out to the newest member and the hardest working member of the Sharpshooters production team, Manny, to say, hey, can you make me some thumbnails so my product can look better? But at the same time, me being who I am, I was too lazy. I didn't even do that. So, hey, what can you say? This is what you get. Marcus and Manny, I know you guys have already talked about this ad nauseum, but because I am still true to my audio listeners who subscribe to the audio podcast, which is available in iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher, just go and type in the Sharpshooters and subscribe. But if you are listening to audio, please also come to the YouTube channel and check out all the content that is being produced, like the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, where you can get your fix right then and there instead of waiting a week at time to figure what we're talking about. But I say all this because I'm going to have you guys revisit something that I know you probably don't want to revisit, and we're not going to spend too much time on there. I'm just going to ask you 2 questions. We're talking about...
No, man, the Clippers should have won, all right? Is that what you're trying to revisit? You going to bring that shit up?
No.
It's great to see your team up 3-1. You see them trying to close out. You don't got to bring this shit up, okay? It was traumatizing watching them blow that lead. It was traumatizing.
I was not bringing that up. I was bringing up what happened. I was bringing up what happened last Saturday, and that's AEW All Out. And I know that your title said that this could be the worst pay-per-view of 2020. I decided not to watch it, so I'm gonna ask you guys 2 questions each. Manny, what was something positive about AEW All Out?
Shida versus Thunder Rosa was a really, really good match. Probably their best women's match of in their whole existence.
Okay.
And then And then if you're into kind of slow matches, the FTR versus Kenny and Adam Page was a very good match, but very slow at the same time. I think everything kind of took a knock-on effect from the Matt Hardy situation. And then also they blame it on the heat. You're a performer. You knew the situation. You knew your terrain. It's not like you've moved very far from thing. You've always been in Daly's place since for maybe like the last 3 months. So you know the terrain. That's not an excuse.
Marcus, what about you? What are some positive highlights from AEW All Out that you enjoyed?
Well, I'm going to say, first of all, the positive, it was really, no. As Manny said, the Sheeta and Thunder Rosa match was really good. And my second positive comes from the fact that Matt Hardy did not die the next day or in that match just so they can get that spot in. That's my positive. Someone didn't die on that show. Well, it just had a bunch of bosses. I know this is a backhanded compliment, but someone didn't die, and that is a compliment. And they may have got over 100,000 buys. That's what I'm going to say the positives were.
Well, Marcus, somebody else, the uncrowned champion in the chat room, Wes and B. Moore, says something positive about AEW, the copyright at the end. That is true hate that I must admit that I appreciate. Now, Marcus, I come to you first. I want you to limit it to 3 things. If you don't have to give me 3 things, but try to limit it to 3 things. What did you dislike about AEW All Out?
Just 3 things?
Just 3 things. Because we could be here all day.
1, the Mimosa match is the dumbest match ever put together. And if it was WWE, they would have called Vince a senile old man and said he needs to step away. For anybody thinking about doing a Mimosa match, it was fucking stupid.
But Chris Jericho was so proud of that match. He posted on his Instagram the diagram he sent to Tony Khan 7 months ago showing his idea for this Mimosa match, Marcus. Was it really that bad?
It's just stupid. It is a stupid-ass match.
Eric.
It was just, we got 2 dumb tanks, and we're going to not fall in it, and the winner falls in. It was stupid. Go. What did you going to say, Manny?
Anything Chris Jericho does, he's really proud of. If he took a shit, he would take a picture of it if it was that good of a shit and then post it online and say, look at my amazing shit. That is the level Chris Jericho is at these days.
Manny, he does that at every Fozzy concert. That is just shit you're watching. That is a man taking a shit. And the fact that Sturgis had 250,000 corona cases connected to it. But with that being said, I'm going to list my second least favorite thing. The handling of Matt Hardy, which is utter trash. That was just utter trash. That was the worst handling of anything I've seen on TV since the death of Owen Hart.
Oh, wow.
Like, that was that bad. Like, something really bad could have happened because of this. And the fact that they tried to shrug it off on this week's, like, Matt Hardy, like, I'm okay, and blah, 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 I'm a fucking dumbass, or whatever he was saying, that they tried, that he didn't have a concussion, but, it's full of shit. And the cover-up behind it, it's just horrible. And the last thing this shit was too long. It was like 5.5 hours. It does not need to be that long. Especially in pandemic-era wrestling, and when WWE is cutting their pay-per-views to half that, to like 2 hours and 30 minutes or something, why the fuck do I need to see all these matches? I didn't need no Battle Royal. I didn't need the Jurassic Express versus the Bucks. I didn't need the Dark Order versus, I don't remember who they fought, Matt Cardona and his gang of Memphis. You don't need all that.
All right, calm down, Marcus. Calm down, Marcus.
Keep it to a basis.
Calm down.
I'm tired of calming down.
Calm down, Marcus. Calm down, because we still have to talk about AEW later on. Manny, I'm going to ask you, what are limited to 3 things that you disliked about the AEW All Out show?
So I'm in total agreement with Marcus about the Matt Hardy situation. I feel like that was really stupid. And the fact that you had Sammy Guevara carry him up a plinth to get Matt Hardy to push him off it for a finish, it was extremely dangerous. Already leading from the he pretty much had a concussion, so you wouldn't do that. Like, with so much going on about concussion protocol in every sport now, every contact sport, this was incredibly stupid to even let this go on.
I mean, the thing that I hear, like, so I didn't watch it, so I don't know. But also, when I looked at my file for my AEW All Out that I'd never looked at, but I saw the file size and I saw how long it was. It seemed to me that they had plenty on the show where they could have just ended this match and say, "Hey, you know what, everyone, this was not planned. We're just gonna stop this match and move on with the show." I mean, as Marcus said in his rant, if WWE would have did this, I'm damn sure everybody would have been calling for their heads of Matt Hardy being destroyed. And I think I did hear some rumbling from people talking about that AEW was extremely irresponsible. But besides the Matt Hardy handling, what else did you dislike, Manny?
So there was the way it's minor in comparison to the Matt Hardy thing, but like it's just how unsafe they are in the ring anyway. Like you've put Darby Allin into a body bag and then thrown him over the top rope onto the ground where he can't see where he's landing. It's just not safe. And that can lead to injuries. If WWE did some bullshit like that, you wouldn't hear the end of it. And then finally, it's the fans. The fans that were in attendance were the worst fans ever. Like you've paid $50 to get into the show, which I think is a $10. What was it? A $10. It was $10 less than actually buying the show on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And these people made no noise throughout the show. No noise. And the worst case was even the people around ringside weren't making any noise, which was just as bad. So like you had silence in types of matches between Shida and Thunder Rosa and FTR and Kenny and Adam Page. It was just it just wasn't a crowd. It's not worth having a crowd if they're not going to make any noise or anything.
So it was very similar to when WWE first implemented the poor NXT wrestlers into their crowd, and they started off hot, but then by like the SmackDown taping, like they had no energy. That's what it felt like watching All Out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it has something to do with just what was on the show. Like it's hard to get amped up for a Mimosa match. It's hard to get amped up after Matt Hardy almost died and then restarting it awkwardly. It's hard to stay amped up when you watch Matt Sydal land on his head, try to do his moonsault. Like the whole show just seemed like a lowbrow indie show or like a CZW show. It was really trash.
And that's
it really was.
And I enjoyed the Moxley MJF match, but I hated the finish to that.
Well,
it was stupid.
The finish to me is like the whole time we're promoting that MJF is trying to outlaw the paradigm shift, and it gets put into his contract that the paradigm shift is outlawed. And then if I'm right, it's like a ref bump, and then Moxley hits the paradigm shift and wins the match, right?
Yeah, it's like a Warlow distraction.
Yeah, and to the point of the reason, like the whole reasoning behind the paradigm shift being banned is that because it's a devastating move and things like that. And then you go to Dynamite and there is like no effects of the paradigm shift being like, I expected more follow up afterwards that they didn't do, but we can get to that when we talk about AEW. My last thing, I saw also clips from the Big Swole Britt Baker match that looked like it took place in the dental office. I'm not 100% sure what happened in that match. Would one of you guys like to enlighten me on that? Because that was
a comedy match.
That was one of the few feuds going in.
Yeah, it was basically a comedy match that was supposed to be on the buy-in show, but so many fans were outraged that they moved it to the main card. And it opened the card, and it's not something you really want to open the card with. You want to open and come in hot, but that's not what they did. And it was funny. Like I enjoyed it, but like it's not what you should open a show up with.
No, it's like those type of comedy matches are very good in between. Like after, if I would place a comedy match, it would be, let's say, after the tag team championship match between FTR and Page and Omega, because that's like proper pacing for me. But since we're on proper pacing, let's talk about, as I like to call it, the true untitled Manny and Marcus show. And that is the A show in WWE. That is Friday Night SmackDown. Because, like, for me, and I know we'll get to that later, the weekend wrestling was just, it was okay for me. But Friday Night SmackDown gave me everything that I liked in professional wrestling. And it started off with the big dog. And I must say, the big dog being back has made WWE feel legit once again. And the whole premise behind the big dog starting to show off is that he's coming out there. Jey Uso is coming out there talking about the relationship that Paul Heyman had with his family. And then, of course, the man who's always involved in something that has no business, Baron Corbin, comes out there. And, you know, he's in his nice suit. Then Sheamus walks out, and he's wearing whatever the hell Sheamus is wearing. And then Sheamus makes a valid point. When he took out Big E, Jey Uso had no business being in that match. It should have been a triple threat. Marcus, do you like delusion of Sheamus in the situation, say that Jey Uso did not deserve this shot?
Well, a heel's gonna heel, man, and Sheamus came out with his hat and his jacket, and he tried to make a valid argument, but I disagree with his argument. If Jey Uso had no reason to be in that match, Eric, he would not have won that match. It's not like he came in and it was like, oh shit, this is like Goldberg or somebody going like, oh, this is crazy. You can't just throw Brock Lesnar in there. This is Jey Uso, who doesn't have a good. I'm gonna say he's never won a singles match in his career. He may have only won maybe one or two in some tag team feud, but he did this match as a jobber, and he somehow came out on top.
What I love about Jey Uso's involvement in this one, it really sets Roman Reigns out as the badass that people wanted him to be from the get-go, because he is the complete opposite of his cousin Jey, who was over the top. When Jey booked the match, Roman never agreed to this match. He just looked at it like, what are you doing? Manny, when he booked the match, were you like Roman in that situation? Like, what the hell are you doing? I don't want to fight these guys.
Yeah, I was hoping for Roman to hit the "you don't speak for me."
Yeah, I thought this was the beginning of him about, hey man, you better chill out, Oos. You better chill out, Oos.
But then it was like when the match
opportunity, man.
Yeah, and then when the match was actually booked, Jey Uso just looked like the annoying cousin sitting on the sofa in the back, just yapping away like la 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 la. La.
Yeah,
and Roman just like, why don't you shut up, man?
Yeah, like man. He's like that person, like you get pulled over by the police and you're the driver and you got that passenger in your car that's making the situation worse for you. Like, man, shut up. We're already in trouble right now. Stop talking. And well, go ahead, Marcus.
It was a good contrast to who Roman is right now, like you said earlier, and who Jey is, in which it's like, he's all excited. He's the typical happy-go-lucky, good guy, baby face. I'm ready to have a match every time. And you just got Roman just standing in the ring, just looking like, what did you just do? And you see Jey beat up everybody in the ring. And then they get to the back, and he going over spots. He's like, all right, so you going to hold him, you going to hold the homie, and I'm going to super kick him. And then he going to fly in the air, and then you going to spin. And it's just that it looks like Roman Reigns outgrew him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I ain't playing these kid games, man. I'm fucking bitches now.
Yeah. And, wow. I ain't playing these kids' games. I'm fucking bitches now. The greatest thing for me was when we get to the main event and we have this match. And I'm hoping, because Roman didn't show up. And I'm like, oh shit, he ain't gonna show up. This is like the ultimate bad guy move. Marcus, I'm gonna ask you this question. Would it have been better if Roman didn't show up, or Roman showing up and winning the match? Did that make him even more evil in that situation?
I think him showing up and, doing his shirt, show up and win and leave or whatever it is. Like, I like the fact that he came out. I do like the fact that if he would not have came out, but that you can save that for another week. We have 3 more weeks to build on this pay-per-view of him just going like, no, I never agreed to that. Because it's a slow, casual heel. Like, he's still his cousin. As Roman said, you my blood. I'm going to whoop your ass like I used to, but we going to get along because we family. And he hasn't descended into complete madness when he just be like, I'm sick of your shit, because, at the end of the match, when Jey lift up his arm, when he grabbed the belt arm, Roman had to look, fool, you out your damn mind. You think you'll take my title. So, we're going to get the darker Roman Reigns, and I like that this is a story that isn't that deep of a story, but it does have some layers to it. Like, just a little bit. So, like, this is family. Roman, you don't know where he's at. truly in this one. He gave him an opportunity, but it looks like he's just there to be slaughtered.
Now, Manny, do you agree with Marcus in the situation that Roman looks like he doesn't want anything to do with his cousin anymore?
Yeah, and as he should. He's now the champion. He's got no time for. He ain't got no time for that. If they were the tag champs, maybe if him and his brother were both there, maybe he'd hang around with them. But now he's big time.
All right, so we have two statements from the Lumberjack. I would like to get you guys' opinion on this one. Manny, Jeremy says Roman should start dressing with some swag. Do you think he needs to up his swag game in his attire, or you think he should continue to try to sell his merch?
Sell his merch, but I kind of want him dressed like an Uso from now on.
And Marcus, Don says people keep describing Roman as Big Dick Energy Reigns. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That dude, since he's come back, Roman has looked like the ultimate badass I've seen. To me, he seems like a movie star. He looks more like a movie star than Jason Momoa right now. Like, to me, he has amazing big dick energy right now. Roman fucking everybody. That's what's going on.
Otis better watch out. Wes says he feel like there was no reason for Roman to say that he used to beat your ass when they were kids. Fool, I'm a grown ass man now. You know, the point is, I think Wes in that situation, he is just showing his dominance at that point. And that is all that we want to see. Like, this is who he is. And I was reading even things. They were like, even how Paul Heyman interacts with Roman, it's not like how he interacted with Brock Lesnar, because with Brock Lesnar, Paul felt like Brock had his back. So if something went awry, it's okay. Paul now dealing with Roman looks like he's dealing with an asshole. Like, man, I'm just going to be trying to be nice and stay on your good side, continue to pay me. I'm not going to say anything else wrong.
I did like, though, that you didn't see it often when Paul was with Brock, but Paul kind of kept mentioning that Roman was his boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. That he is the tribal chief. What do you guys think of the new nickname, the tribal chief of the locker room or whatever? I think that's what it is.
Oh,
and I'm comment also I'm comment on the fact that it seems like Paul Heyman is actually afraid of Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty sure he is.
Like, this dude is going. He's a loose cannon right now, and I don't know what to do. I think he's on cocaine or something. He can rip anybody apart. Like, that's what Paul Heyman's looking like.
Well, you know,
like, this dude's always carrying a gun.
When he said the tribal chief, I was like, who was he talking about? I guess that does make sense that that's Roman Reigns. But yeah, like I said, Roman Reigns is finally the big dog. This is his yard. Undertaker better not come showing up. Somebody else who I felt needs to be suspended because he's just going too far. And that is a person who I share a kindred spirit with, because I know how it feels to be robbed when you are a true champion, but people won't recognize your championship. And I'm talking.
So many delusional champions on this channel. Is ridiculous.
How many delusional champions do we need?
Needless to say,
everybody got the same gimmick. Next thing you know, y'all are gonna be managed by Jake the Snake. It's gonna be the same gimmick over and over, just like in AEW with the Murder Hawk and Brian Cage and whoever else.
So, with that being said, Sami Zayn showed up in a production truck. He demanded they took that graphic down of the upcoming match for the Intercontinental title of AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy. My fact that he was in the truck just pressing buttons and they were like, don't do that, Sami. He's like, this match should not be sanctioned in the first place, to the point where they're having a match. And you could tell that Hardy and AJ are not putting all their heart into it, because you know Sami Zayn is going to interfere. Manny, does Sami deserve to have this match made a triple threat match, or should you just leave him on the outside looking in?
No, you need to bring him in at some point. And as Wes said, Roman is big dick energy. Sami is small dick enthusiasm.
Wow. Okay.
It is. Like, he has that. He just seems like that, and I love Sami Zayn's character, and that he is the true Intercontinental Champion. That he's pointing at a screen talking about how they have the Intercontinental Championship match, in front of me when I'm the Intercontinental Champion. And then the scrap daddy Iron Pierce had to throw him out with security, only for him to sneak back in. I am all for this Sami Zayn, and I enjoyed the match, by the way.
No.
Like, it was Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles. It was a solid match. They weren't going to give you everything.
No.
But it's probably going to lead to some type of three-way ladder match of some kind.
But this is why
I look forward to it.
This is why I like SmackDown, because everything so far in this show has had purpose. And I felt that a lot of the other wrestling matches and things that happened on the other shows that we're going to talk about didn't have any purpose or any rhyme or reason to it. Because we even get to the one-woman show, as I like to call it, Bayley, who gets into
no, wait, Eric.
What?
Eric, before you go on to that. Jeff Hardy passed out.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy died.
And then I like this long-term storytelling because they said Jeff Hardy was dehydrated, which explains the piss test with Sheamus a few weeks ago when that piss was glowing yellow.
But hold on, Manny. It was also a lot of piss.
Like a horse.
It's like, I don't know if he got his urine, like, he's not drinking a lot of water, and apparently he goes to the bathroom once every 2 days. It's very unhealthy. But he did pass out from dehydration, and I was reading online, somebody said this reports in WWE spoofing the Matt Hardy death from All Out. I don't even know if that was the case, but, you know, I honestly don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
If it's true, it's insensitive and it's petty, and I'm all for it. That's just who I am. That's
Manny, you about that petty life?
I am, but not as much as Eric.
Because Marcus, I don't need Matt Hardy on my television again. And me being an original Matt Hardy fan, I can say that it's over. It's over. He needs to give up. It's just time.
Not just any Matt Hardy fan. He was originally in your top 5.
Yes, he was a version 1. I was version 1. Damn it. So, like, you got to understand, this hurts to see me, but every now and then, you got to take your dog back to the shed and you got to pull the trigger. It's time to pull the trigger on Matt Hardy. I mean, maybe his concussion was a blessing in disguise that he won't be on television for the foreseeable future.
We're talking about Jeff. What about Jeff?
Oh, Jeff is still money, man. Jeff has always been money. Jeff need to drink some more water. He need to drink some more water. That's all he need to do.
Where are going with this dehydration right here?
Marcus. Marcus.
Are we going to follow up on this?
No, because it's an outlandish comment like in AEW. Oh, the heat made it slippery for the performers not to be able to perform. Like, that's bullshit. People been performing in Florida for years. But whatever. Back to Bayley. Bayley pretty much said she loved every single second of destroying Sasha Banks, and she just beat her to the punch because she knew Sasha was going to do the same to her. Marcus, do you believe Bayley when she says this?
I didn't hear no lies. There's no lies. Bayley was out there telling the truth. And she knew it was a matter of time because Sasha was out of options. Sasha done lost her Raw title. She done lost her tag titles. And the rematch to get those tag titles back. She was left without anything. And she was going to be looking at Bayley, with her title, and know that she was going to turn on her. So Bayley did the right thing. And this is the fear that every tag team should have, is that when is my partner going to turn on me? Because it has always happened. You're going to turn your back one day, your partner's going to either, 1, jump off the apron, or 2, try to break your neck with a chair.
So, Manny, so Bayley, you know, I guess now she's officially a bad person. Do you believe that now this solidifies her character, or are we just waiting for Sasha to come back and take the title from her?
Ding dong. Hello. I loved every second of Bayley's promo. And yes, it's given her more edge where she's justified her actions, making her the ultimate female heel.
Well, I mean, we all know Sasha was going to do it. Sasha had to look at her eye. You had to get her.
And Corey Graves has been calling it for months, saying that Sasha was going to be the one, only for it to be Bayley.
And then Bayley's deceit didn't happen. Stop right there. Nikki Cross, who was participating in the Fatal 4-Way for the number 1 contender against Tamina, because there's no one meaner. Lacey Evans.
Bayley's clearly meaner than Tamina.
Hold on. My favorite thing about this Fatal 4-Way and Tamina being in it, there was a moment which I'm gonna say is the best Tamina match I ever seen.
Marcus, because I'm glad you brought this up because I'm gonna ask you this question right now because you do have the Sharpshooters Championship stipulation that if Tamina,
the Money in the Bank,
if Tamina wins or something of that nature, I don't even know what she has to win, but I know Tamina and Marcus
just to win a title.
But let me tell you something.
Not the 24/7, not the 24/7 or a tag title, a singles title.
But Marcus, watching that match, I will say this was the best I've seen Tamina look in a long time, or possibly even ever. And I thought she had an opportunity to win this match if it wasn't for that stupid attack Bayley did on Nikki before to get that heat. Marcus, did you think that Tamina had a chance?
Well, shout out to Bayley for just being the B they call. They should change her name to the B they call Bayley. She had no reason to come back and hit Nikki Cross with that chair shot. Man, fuck you. I beat you so many times. And when they showed me the cover of this match, I was like, oh my God, they're doing this. This looks terrible. Like, none of the participants in there was like, really, we're going to do this? I thought we were going to have a non-finish at this point when I saw the participants in this match. But when I got it, I was pleasantly surprised. And, Bliss walking out on the match was my highlight. Her doing Sister Abigail being like, I'm over this.
Now I'm going to talk to Manny about that, Manny, because, we were promised a guest host on the Firefly Funhouse. And when you saw Bliss hit the Sister Abigail, were you like, oh, my God, it's going to be Alexa showing up in the Funhouse?
Unfortunately, no. So I kind of got wind that they copyrighted a name, Wobbly Walrus, a few weeks ago, which made me believe, oh wait, it's going to be a Paul Heyman type thing because everyone has called Paul Heyman a walrus at some point.
Go ahead.
My question to you two was: is anyone shocked that they just decided to leave Naomi out of this?
Yes.
Because I feel like they should have thrown her in the mix for this.
It's one of those things that I don't think they want the internet to start bitching again, and maybe they got something set for Naomi. Maybe she's gonna be truly the blonde lady that's debuting, and they just they put her in whiteface or something like that. I don't know.
No, that blonde lady's Carmella. We all know it.
I don't know that. Oh, pop. The self
late.
What about you, Marcus? Are you shocked that Naomi wasn't in that match?
Well, first of all, let me respond to Luchador in the chat. He showed up late, Manny, because he is the current champion. And just like Roman Reigns, he doesn't have to be here. He just shows up and win, apparently.
No, not in my world. You get fined a point next time.
All right. Eric, what was your question again? Was it about Naomi?
It was actually Manny's question about Naomi not being inside of the match. Were you shocked about that?
No. I feel like this was a match that she didn't need to be in because she was just going to lose it there. There was no plan of, like, if you made her the number one contender against Bayley, she's going to lose to Bayley. That is a Sasha Banks match that's going to beat Bayley. And the fact she's just going to get knocked out again, I was fine with the 4 that was in there because you look at it and go, SmackDown really needs to upgrade their women. And that blonde woman who is probably Carmella or Vanessa Board or Chelsea Green.
Or Eva Marie.
Who knows? Or Eva Marie.
Don't you dare throw that name in.
Hey, Eva Marie says she wants to come back.
Kelly.
No, anytime you pick up Eva Marie's name, you throw it in the trash. That's the only time you pick it up.
Speaking of throwing
or Kelly or any of the 500 women they have in their random arsenal. I just feel like Naomi would. I don't even remember what I was saying. Fuck it.
I just want to point out El Luchador is walking into the chat with that big dick energy. He came out and said Wes about to let Baltimore down again. Wow, he is already calling his 3-peat. That is crazy. Now, Manny,
this is the rematch we've all been waiting for.
Now, you talked about Wobbly Wars and them having copyright, so you were not surprised that the Warriors showed up. But were you disappointed that Pasquale the parrot died in the box? Because I really wanted to see Pasquale the parrot.
Pasquale the parrot was the best name ever. And I was like, why don't we have a Pasquale the parrot?
I was so disappointed that Pasquale didn't make it.
Damn you, Brady, for not putting holes in that box.
Damn it!
It was an outrage that Pasquale the parrot. My two favorite characters are probably never going to show up again in the Firefly Funhouse. That is Postman Pierce and Pasquale the parrot. And the fact that Pasquale has never made a debut and his life was so short was very hurtful. But I actually enjoyed this segment with Wobbly Wallace and Vince McMahon, or Evil Vince, or whatever they call him, showing up, talking about some good shit. And it was a tease that it's eventually going to be Alexa joining the Funhouse.
No, but see, the thing about it, because the Firefly Funhouses have been meh. This one, you're right, Marcus. This one made me enjoy it so much more because it's nothing when Evil Vince shows up and then he has to say his tagline, "This is some good shit," and it just makes me laugh all the time. And Wobbly Wars was actually a great looking character that was mocking Paul Heyman. So as soon as Oosie Juicy gets beat up, we know it's gonna be the Fiend and the Big Dog again.
Well, the greatest thing, it was the way he talked too. It was just I was like, what the fuck? No, I don't think we're getting Fiend and Big Dog again. The Big Dog has his own path to go.
Well, Marcus,
so you don't want him to get involved in Supernatural.
Apparently, in the news, Jeff Hardy wants to bring back Willow to take on the Fiend, and we all don't need that.
We do, because he might pass out. But I guess our only hope then is now it lies into the hands of the Miz legal team, because the Miz legal team is at hand, and he said all he had to do was get his hands on that Money in the Bank contract, and he tried to steal the contract. But my question is, didn't Miz win Money in the Bank one time or no?
He did. So I thought he became champion. He cashed in.
Doesn't he have a copy of his old contract? He should have a copy of his old contract, but Marcus, as Manny reported today on the Facebook.
Why would he keep that?
Marcus,
why would he keep that?
Marcus, it doesn't matter. As Manny reported today on...
He handed it to the ref and never look back.
Marcus.
When you become champion,
Marcus.
You don't look at a championship
Let me do it.
Yes.
So on Talking Smack this morning, The Miz has announced after him saying he was going to call in a favor on SmackDown that Mandy Rose has been traded to Raw.
Yeah. What? Yes, Marcus.
In his statement, he said, "Fox and the USA Network rely on me. They listen to every work and pitch I have. And boy, did I have a pitch for the USA Network," said The Miz. Ladies and gentlemen, as of 10:01 p.m. on 11th of September 2020, Mandy Rose is now on the roster of the USA Network's Monday Night Raw.
The peaches go, Marcus. The peaches go.
What? Yeah. So, in this deal, did SmackDown get Billy Kay?
No.
Is that what happened?
No. Raw was on, Marcus. Raw was on a draft pick, I think, from the AJ Styles thing. You know, all the convolution stuff. And they got Mandy Rose as the player to be named later.
No, they got Dolph Ziggler.
They still had Mark, don't matter. The Miz pulled some shenanigans.
That's some bullshit right there. By the way, what if the blonde woman is Sonya?
No.
There's a rumor going around that there's a tattoo on the lady on the arm like here. And it's very similar to the one on Carmella.
I guess we just don't know. But
why was Carmella gone for so long? She's just been gone.
Taking care of Corey, man. Taking care of Corey.
But Corey's turning up to work? Shit.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when they don't have something for somebody, they don't use them. So speaking of not having something for somebody, let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Dynamite, you guys have already spoke on this one. I have not given my opinion on this show. For me, the show felt like...
Wait a minute. You're not gonna talk about the tag team championship kerfuffle we're having.
Marcus, I was gonna talk about that when I got to Raw.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it back. I knew you was gonna bring that up, but I'm gonna bring it back.
It was a kerfuffle, and I just want to talk about, I don't know where Kalisto stands in this world, because it seemed like he was turning heel, but then he was celebrating with people. I'm just saying.
Marcus, we will talk about that when we get to how it all began. Because
Kalisto does never deserve to win.
Okay.
All I gotta say is that they should have never let those people in, and that's what happened when you let those people move into your championships lounge. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, Mr. Trump.
So speaking of letting someone in, we've been talking about this for weeks on end. We've been talking about that we can't take AEW seriously if they can't sign real big free agents. And it's like, there was one of the hottest free agents out there, known as Rusev in WWE. Real name is Miro. Come to find out on this episode of Dynamite, Miro is all elite. Gentlemen, I will turn to you. Let me go to Manny first, since he has a better connection. Your impression of Miro being all elite.
It's Miro Day!
Shout out to Aiden English. I'm sure he gonna make his return. He gonna show up in AEW next. Just say.
Marcus, since he wants to be Aiden English, how did you feel about Miro making his return or debut and becoming all elite?
Well, Miro is the best. Miro number one. Miro is the best. Miro number one. So, Vladimir Putin's favorite child has shown up in AEW, and Eric, I was happy for them, and I was happy for Miro that, because at this point AEW in free agency has swung and missed. They didn't get any top guys because everybody ended up going to Impact Wrestling.
They got FTR.
They got FTR, but that was a given. That was the given.
They got Matt Cardona.
Do they have Matt Cardona? Do they? But they got the number one free agent. I believe he was ranked number one in our draft of release talent. He was our number one pick, I believe. And they got him, and let's see what they do with him. The one thing that still I think he needs to get away from, and most people need to do when they leave WWE, is stop talking about WWE. Don't talk about how, I was trying to grab a brass ring, shove your ass. Who cares at this point? It's over. That is the stupid lesser company. You're in the better company. That should be your money. You need to keep WWE name out your mouth. Fuck that company. That's how it would be.
Also, Miro's got that John Moxley contract where he's allowed to go work for New Japan.
There it is.
Now,
there it is. He's happy.
Now, with all
happiness.
That, now, with
do
all
you think
that,
Lana's gonna join him?
I don't know. Now, with all that being said,
I love your analyst for this show.
Well, because I have to give because I'm not here to talk about Lana right now because she's still part of the Boat tag team right now, doing great things on Monday Night Raw that we will not talk about this week. But I'll let you know. Shout out to the Boat. But Miro, I've been down with Rusev before even Rusev Day ever happened. So
you're turning on Rusev.
I'm not turning on Rusev yet, Marcus. But at the same time, I felt like you have one of the biggest free agents in the game, and this is how you decide to debut him with one of your lower tier wrestlers. As we all know, Marcus, Kip Sabian ain't shit, really. And we all said the only time we ever started liking Kip Sabian is when he was teamed with Jimmy Havoc and something was going. But not only did he get announced as the best man, before he even made it out, we had all these comedy skits of all these lesser talents coming out. First, you had the overweight guy that came out. Then you had Brian Pillman Jr. came out, and they weren't even friends. Like, it was such a bad segment of comedy that really just put me in a bad place. And then Miro came out, and I understand he was Gucci down to the socks, but he still looked like he was wearing pajamas when he walked out. Like, the big deal that I wanted him to be portrayed in this company was not given. Like, once again, it's AEW, same as with TNA, Same even as with WCW, when they get a WWE guy, they always just rely on them having that past experience from WWE. So he gets into the ring, he cuts his promo, he hates WWE. Great, he couldn't get the brass ring. I get it. But now does this mean that this is another sad tag team in AEW? I don't need him teaming with Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. I didn't need it. No, it could have been a better way for Miro to debut. Know what I would like to see?
A lot of hate.
No, because Marcus, this hurt me. You know who would be a better Miro? If you would put where you put Brian Cage at, if that was Miro, people would be going fucking crazy. If he came out there, if Miro was named the first, if he was the first FTW champion, he would have carried it so much better than Brian Cage. You wouldn't even have to bring in absolute Ricky Starks to save that.
Wait a minute. Before we go into about the FTW title, does Miro look like a guy that says "fuck the world"?
Yes.
He's married to Lana on TikTok. He has a Twitch. He ain't Mr. Fuck the World. He seems like a genuinely nice guy.
Yes, but he was the Bulgarian brute, man. He can be a monster at the same time. I just feel like him being tagged with Kip Sabian just doesn't work for me.
I don't think they're a tag.
It's his best man, Marcus.
He's just the best man at his wedding.
Marcus.
I think this was a fine introduction to Rusev. It was nothing over the top. It didn't give you any expectations. He's not thrown. He's not fighting the Dark Order. He's not a member of the Dark Order. He's not hanging around Taz or Jake the Snake. He's his own man. He is the best man, and I want to see where it goes.
He's the best man to a man who can't even make it on Dynamite on a regular basis. He's in the audience with Sheeta. I'm just saying, it would have been so much better if maybe he could have been the guest entrance inside of the Battle Royal instead of Matt Sydal, who botched his flip. I'm just saying,
no.
I think you could have did so much more.
Like a bigger deal. Showing up on a weak-ass pay-per-view, one of the worst pay-per-views ever, in which he probably debuted, his pyro would have blew off his foot or something, just the way that pay-per-view was going. It was best show with this Dynamite. They got over 1 million views. Support Miro.
Marcus, I'm going to try to be patient, but I just know that AEW and their past free agents and what they have done to them who came to the company, I look at the Murder Hawk, I look at Brian Cage, and I'm just saying I don't feel good about this. I don't think it's going to work. I just don't, and I hope it does.
You don't want it to work.
I want it to work, Marcus.
You want Rusev back.
Manny, I feel like you have something to say because now it's just Marcus and I arguing because we're on two different planes. Let us know what you feel.
Eric, before Manny go, Eric, I'm going to beat your ass like I did when we were little kids, okay?
That never happened.
I beat your ass now.
That never happened, man. That never happened.
So I'm kind of laughing at what's going on in the Lumber Chat right now. Wes is here to announce the trade of El Luchador to anyone for cash considerations and future picks. El Luchador has come back with you can't trade our champion. Wes then goes, hey Lucha, settle down Tessa, just give the belt back. Followed by El Luchador then saying, I'm going to throw this belt off the bridge the way The Rock did before losing it to the Baltimore's disgraced son.
Wow.
Can I say something? If Luchador's going to destroy the belt, can he do the way I want to destroy the belt? Is that you leave an icon on your screen, you drag it into your trash?
Marcus, well, maybe you should win the title so you can destroy the title that way. And Jeremy Bishop said,
maybe I will.
He said these chat promos are better than the weekend wrestling, and I kind of agree with that in so many ways. So,
do you know what? Also, check out the end of the Manny and Marcus show when you see the live chat on the side. This also started on Thursday between these two.
So Manny, the conversation that Marcus and I just had about Miro, you sat back and you heard both sides. How do you feel about this?
I think give him a chance. Like how we've debated about Keith Lee on his Raw debut and how bad it was. I think you've got to give it a chance for this because it could be that he ends up on Dark and we don't see him for a few weeks. or they could strap the rocket to him and then make him one of the big guys in their company. So I think we've just got to take time with this one, and I'd say give it 2 months. Give it 2 months.
I gotta give it 2. It's a long time.
I'll give it to the next pay-per-view.
That's 8 episodes of Dynamite. I'll try to be patient, but I have a feeling that I don't think they'll make it in 3 before they do something that pisses me off. I just think.
Well, you already seem to be pissed off.
I am, but he was Gucci down to the socks. But see, the thing was, I wasn't pissed off in essence because of Miro showing up. I was just pissed off about how the show was booked. Like, Jurassic Express and the Lucha Brothers had a really good opening match. It was a good entertaining match, but it really served absolutely no purpose in the grand scheme of things. And then even the convolution that happened afterwards, where Eddie Kingston was making Ray and Pentagon be brothers again, and then he just throws out there that, hey, I didn't lose the Battle Royal, check the rules. And I'm like, when did we ever start checking rules in AEW? It just threw me for a loop. Manny, I know you like this Jurassic Express Lucha Brothers match, but can you explain to me the tomfoolery that happened afterwards?
So, he did, in the Battle Royal, he did step out of the ring through the middle rope. He wasn't thrown out over the top rope. And then, essentially, at the end of the match, it was basically him hoping that the Blade and the Butcher caught him when the Murder Hawk threw him from the top turnbuckle, as Jake the Snake was luring a snake at him, which apparently Eddie Kingston's afraid of snakes. So Eddie Kingston was never really fully eliminated. But also in his promo, he made reference to, where's your little British friend? He's not here, I'm here. A shot at Pac,
yes,
who is still trapped in the UK somewhere.
Still, I didn't pick up that. I was really curious. Like, I told Manny on the show, I was like, who the fuck was he talking about? His little British friend. He's like, Pac. And I was like, all about that, man. He's still stuck over there.
Death Triangle.
Death Triangle. My favorite reference was, where's your wife? Huh, Blade? Where's your wife? And that made Blade
no
more interesting to anybody in that ring. I was like, what's that? Where's your wife, Blade? You guys are brothers. You guys are brothers. You got to get together your blood. Bound by blood. And I don't understand the whole beef between Pentagon and Ray Phoenix at the end of that match. Like, it was unnecessary.
But Marcus, at the same time, I'm okay with their beef because I think we both agree, this is something we could agree with, is that AEW has too many tag teams, and if they could break up Pentagon and Ray Phoenix, I wouldn't mind seeing what they would do on their own. Just wouldn't mind seeing them be individual single stars in AEW. That's just...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but why is Eddie Kingston with these guys?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but I would prefer if the Lucha Bros tagged occasionally and were more singles competitors.
Yeah. It just... Because I know, like, it was, was it 3 years ago when Pentagon was, like, the hottest commodity in professional wrestling on the indies and also on the other circuit? I mean, he could be a legit contender for the title against Moxley. I think it would be better than seeing the Murder Hawk. And then you could have you could also have all the people who complain about AEW not promoting their own. Like, hey, you know, Pentagon was there since day one. Let's promote him a little bit. Now, what was you about to say, Marcus?
I mean, I can imagine him in the Moxley feud of this whole Zero Miedo until Moxley have no fear and Moxley trying to, you know, and they can have whatever kind of death match they want. But it would build both guys, and I feel like that would be a really good feud than him and the Murder Hawk, like you said.
I think by far the best moment on AEW, and it is the best moment because it's a useless moment, but it is the best moment, had to be when Alex Marvez decided to knock on the Young Bucks' door, and he was unaware that the Young Bucks was in a pissy mood, and they super kicked his ass, and later were fined $5,000. Personally, I felt they needed to be suspended because when Nyla Rose put that authority figure through a table, she got suspended for a month.
Racism.
The Young Bucks only get charged $5,000. That was probably what they got paid to be on the show when they won the match that they was pissy about. Marcus, I know we want to kick Alex Marvez, but this shouldn't happen. Does this really make them bad guys?
I don't think it made them bad guys. Just wanted to show the Young Bucks they're angry. We're showing emotion. Kenny Omega. Adam Page. FTR champions. That's what this was showing. But it's really hard to advertise that they're part of management throughout the show and that they got $5,000. Where if anybody in management
Marcus,
take
remember
out anybody in the staff,
Each.
they will be fired and sued. Huh?
They were fined $5,000 each, Marcus.
Yeah, but they would have been fired in if anybody in management were to hit a member of the staff for no apparent reason whatsoever, they need to be removed from their position.
Wasn't Kevin Owens fined $200,000 for attacking a referee?
Yes, he was. He was.
Shane, I can't afford that.
Albeit that ref was Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
And who set the fine was Shane McMahon.
Now, Manny, also continue with this whole Elite storyline, because I know you do watch Being the Elite. We also had a sit-down interview with two former members of the former tag team champions. We had Adam Page, who said he regretted his actions because he lost two of his best friends. And then you had Omega, that even if Adam Page came back, everything is done, and he's going to focus on his single career. I'm happy that Omega's going to focus on his single career, but why are they trying to make me believe that Adam Page regrets losing two of his best friends when he didn't want to be friends with them in the first place?
I don't know. I don't even understand this story at this point. Because it's almost like they've forgotten that Adam Page didn't want to be part of the Elite for a while.
Yeah.
Marcus, what about
you? They threw that to the wayside, and I just wish that they both go their separate ways and do something with this storyline. I don't understand why Hangman Page is so emotional. What happened to the badass drunk that he was? And Kenny is I don't know where he's at anyway. His character is the most bipolar character ever. I mean, they tease him turning on Hangman, and they believe they brought the footage to, I forgot which one, right? Hangman? Or they talked about it for both of them. Like, what were you about to do there? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
his actions are not justified.
I enjoyed it. Here's what I enjoyed. I enjoyed the presentation of the story, but I don't think I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the subtleties of him about to turn on him, but I still don't know why. And they're doing their separate interviews, and I don't understand what is going on. Maybe it's too smart for me.
Well, no, I really thought that Omega did a very good job of how to explain how they end up being tag team champions and partners, that they had a good energy together, that they were both singles competitors, and just for some reason they had a very good energy together, and it became successful, and it helped ignite the fuel that he was missing ever since he got to this company, because he was supposed to be the horse of the company.
The ace.
The ace. I can't remember, man.
Who wants to be the horse of the company?
Hey.
I'm the horse of the company.
Well, isn't that part of Adam Page's gimmick?
You know who tried to be the horse of the company? That was Mantor all those years ago.
I thought you were going to say Warhorse. At least Warhorse was on the show. But with Omega saying that he's going to focus himself back on singles competition, I like that. But for me, I would prefer to see Pentagon Jr. versus Moxley than Omega versus Moxley. And that's just me in that situation. Then we move on.
I'd rather see Ray Phoenix versus fighting for the belt. He is the best luchador in the game if he ain't botching his moves.
Great, Marcus. I mean, everyone is a great luchador until they botch moves. Then we have announcement in the tag team division that is so overly saturated in AEW. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager have decided now that they are going to pursue the tag team championships, and they needed to start at the bottom by defeating Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela, which
your favorite tag team.
Which is why I have no faith that AEW is going to do anything right by Miro, because of how they squandered and butchered what they did with Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. But then
wait. This is the man who said there is no money in Joey Janela. And yet, now here you talking about the AEW squandered that?
Marcus,
Joey Janela squandered that by being Joey Janela.
There was a moment where that when they were doing the vignettes, it was like, you know what, maybe this could be a tag team or something. They were able to beat up the thugs out on the streets. But quite frankly.
Gas station.
But then it even gets more convoluted in the tag team division because we have the FTR tag team celebration, and I'm tired of these goddamn celebrations that they having. Although I will say that Dax had on a nice little jacket with his little blue shirt, and I would have probably rocked that if I would have been allowed to. But then it just ends up with Jurassic Express.
You're not allowed to wear that?
No, because it's like a Hawaiian shirt.
Is there legal ramifications where, damn, man, the police saw me in that? They gonna send me back. They gonna send me up to Pokey.
Shantae might put hands on me, man. I don't want to get the hands on me. But the segment ended with Jurassic Express eating the cake, and I was just like, I don't need this. Manny, how did you feel about the whole tag team atmosphere in AEW?
Well, first of all, as I said on Thursday on the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, they needed to call Kairi Sane because that was a terrible party. There was like 2 balloons on each ring post. What kind of celebration is that?
Yeah, it was really shit. They got that Albertsons cake.
Wow.
Cake. They couldn't even get a real cake. Like, they couldn't find a real cake maker to make up something that's actually worth a damn. You're the tag team champions. You claim to be the top guys. You're the revelation, as they say, for the revelation. And yet they have this cheap ass. I went to the grocery store and saw the first birthday cake in the frozen birthday cake section and picked it up and wrote FTR is champion on there.
I feel like they didn't even write FTR on that. I feel like they just...
Yeah. But, I mean... Luchasaurus looked like he enjoyed the cake, so I mean, I guess that was one plus for it. But I just it was such an unnecessary segment, and like I don't think anybody wants to see FTR versus Jurassic Express at all. But I feel like that's the direction that they're going because they were trying to build up Jurassic Express in the previous match against the Lucha Brothers, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And
the thing is, I want Jungle Boy to separate himself from the other two because he looks like he could be a future star for them, and if they book around him, they could have a star in the making, just like they have MJF.
It's possible.
Well, I would like Luchasaurus to get away from Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt and become a man. Okay, enough of this Luchasaurus shit. Be a grown ass man, because when you're a grown ass man, you never lose, unless you're Wes, who took a loss.
Wow. Shots.
I'm just saying, he lost after saying that line.
Wow.
A grown ass man may never lose twice.
I'm a grown ass man. I never lose.
Wow, you guys. So speaking of 2 grown ass men, the main event for AEW was Brody Lee versus Dustin Rhodes. I will say this was an enjoyable match. I thought it was 2 vets going against each other. But the one thing I couldn't get over is that where the fuck is Cody? Cody only took 1 clothesline. I see multiple people take that clothesline from Brody Lee and they made it back to work. I don't understand why Cody can't come to work. Even Brandy is back after being choked out by Anna Jay. What, Betty?
We had numerous times in the last half an hour of terrible overlaid graphic of breaking news from Cody Rhodes, which was bullshit.
After the show, it was absolute bullshit. Are we talking about that right now?
Yeah, go ahead, because
No. Let's talk about Dustin Rhodes versus Brody Lee was actually a surprisingly good match. Yeah. But then any goodness from that match was taken away by this Cody announcement.
What was the Cody announcement? I totally missed that.
What? Oh my God! They advertised it throughout the show, and they said after this match, Cody Rhodes is going to have a announcement that will change the future of this network.
Is that him being on the show with Snoop Dogg?
It was going to do everything. It was going to change everything. And so they get to the end of the match, and JR's like, "Here's Cody," and Cody's like, "I'm out with injury right now, and I'm away. And there's fire going on in the background. He's in some arena. You don't know what's going on. You're like, ooh, maybe they're doing their own Thunderdome, or ooh, maybe there's a special match coming up. It's going to be against the Dark Order or something." And then he says he's proud to announce a talent show coming to TBS, hosted by him and Snoop Dogg and several other people. And it's going to be like America's Got Talent or, UK Got Talent or American Bandstand, and she's still watching people do talent, and it was the most disappointing thing you've ever heard in your life, because I didn't want that. I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for that.
Because it
was like I wanted something wrestling related. I should probably close my window. I'm yelling.
Because it looked like before they started going towards the talent show route, the way the film was shot and everything, it looked like they were going to have their own version of the Thunderdome. I was like, oh shit.
Now, Marcus,
no, shit's about to hit the fan.
Now, I have a question, Marcus. You alluded to it early in the show, and I don't want to bring up painful things, but you did point out that your Clippers lost to the Denver Nuggets.
Motherfucker.
Now, my question for you, Marcus,
motherfucker.
Do you think they lost because Miro and the Jurassic Express was in the audience on the virtual boards, Marcus? Do you think that was the reason that the Clippers were distracted by a Luchasaurus?
They weren't watching that show, Eric. Oh, well, maybe they were.
They were at that game, Marcus.
By the time SmackDown came on, the game was over. Fuck you.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
Now, was it really confirmed to be them? I don't know what happened with this.
Miro posted it. He was happy to be, because he's a Clippers fan, and then they actually showed the graphic where AEW superstars on the TNT broadcast was there.
Oh, I'm happy for them.
So, speaking of being happy for somebody, let's move on to NXT Tuesday night number 2. Number 2, a new champion was crowned. And that champion being crowned screwed me out of my rightful and unlost title when Finn Balor defeated Adam Cole to become the new champion. And the thing that was the most shocking about this entire match was it was the match that started... Boop! I decided to boop, you guys.
He's dead! She's dead. She's never coming back.
This match started off NXT, and to me, unfortunately, it was something that was a hard standard to follow at that point, because afterwards, everything else on the show until you got to the main event had a hard time living up to the first match for the NXT Championship. Marcus, you're already shaking your head in disgust. And Jeremy, I am smug because I'm a Laker fan.
I was looking out the window, but you're fucking wrong, man. NXT was a really good show. It was really balanced. It started off with the title match, like Regal said, which was a really good title match. And then we had a bunch of little minor storylines to build up people. Thatcher and Priest had a segment. You still got this I Might Be in Love with Killian Dane / Drake Maverick storyline against the Undisputed Era. That's forming a new tag team because this show doesn't have any tag teams. You had Adonis versus the Velveteen Dream, and Adonis' best showing yet because he's no longer Tahuti Miles. And then you get Austin Theory and the Big Thick Boy, and Austin Theory is probably best match in NXT. You're being hard to this show for no reason.
I just realized what the first name of the Adonis is now. Can we really get behind a man called Ashanti?
Oh, yes! That's why I blacked it up.
And he's frozen.
That's okay, because he doesn't need to talk right now. But yes, Ashanti Adonis. I was going to get to there later. Manny, the opening match, Finn Balor versus Adam Cole. Did you enjoy it?
It was a very good match, but it's to be expected from these two. But so as me and Marcus talked about NXT, we referred to it as an allegation sandwich.
I was gonna. That's how I'm closing out NXT. I call it the allegations in between, because that's how I look at it. Because I was gonna move to the next match, which was also a really good match. It was Rhea Ripley defeating Mercedes Martinez in a steel cage match, and I would like to give the MVP out there to Robbie E, because to be draped over the top of that cage for as long as he had to be after he interfered, I felt sorry for that man because that didn't look like it felt really good. But overall, both women really set the bar, and they really had a very good cage match to close out the show. Would you agree, Manny?
Yep, they wrestled like men though. So like I take it to Mercedes Martinez being Punishment Martinez, and then I couldn't really place the male equivalent of Rhea Ripley, but it felt like two men having a harder hitting match. But it was, and then in turn, it was a very good women's main event.
I mean, I really was shocked. I mean, it's one of those things where you really don't know who the bad guy is in this match because, you know, like Rhea Ripley, she got all the black makeup now with the blonde hair, so I'm not really sure what she's going for. But I think is an improvement from where she was going with her other assets and stuff like that. But overall, I really didn't know who was going to win in the match. I mean, I suspected Rhea was going to win, but I thought maybe with some shenanigans that Mercedes Martinez could come in there and get the victory, but she didn't, unfortunately. So at the point, though, I thought it was a very, very strong way to end out the night of NXT. I don't know if Marcus is going to join us back, so we're going to move on to something else, Manny, that I know is dear to your heart because she's a part of this show in one way, by hook or crook. Shotzi Blackheart is now calling her shots. She is challenging Io, I think, for the title now because she helped Io, and then next thing you know, she says, I want your title.
I thought this was really good, but I think it's too early to come at that title for Shotzi. Maybe it is one of those things where she loses, has a minor setback, and then comes back for it. Because you don't really know the direction of NXT at this moment in time in terms of champions, because you've got this oncoming draft coming. So things are going to be shaken up a bit.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, this is a perfect opportunity for NXT to kind of transition Shotzi from that comedic role that she's been doing with Robbie E to at least let her break away to get a little bit more credibility in the long run, because she does need to have some credibility before she starts to challenge Io. And then it was funny seeing her in the ring with Io. Shotzi looked huge, and I was like, I don't remember Shotzi being this tall. And it was just like, wow. And I mean, at the end of the day, we had Robbie E before his big main event. He was trying to destroy the Tank, which I found out that was put on top of a pedestal, which was very confusing to me in so many different ways. But I'm looking forward to see what Shotzi does. I hope she gets some more credible wins down the line to go from there. Then we had someone else who was throwing their name in a hat to become a number one contender, and that was courtesy of Dinner at the Garganos, where before we even get there, Manny, I know on the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, you and Marcus criticized the meal that Candace decided to prepare. I believe it was spaghetti with a meat bolognese with a salad.
No, it's just spaghetti and sauce. There was no meat in that.
I have to believe that she made a meat bolognese. If you see a meat bolognese, it looks just like a sauce, but the meat is in the sauce. I'm confident in that decision. She didn't serve them some meatless spaghetti.
And then the salad was all just dressing. Because when she threw that, all you saw was the dressing or possibly mayo.
Let me see if Marcus wants to call in on via the telephone, the hotline.
And what else did they have? Carrots? No, it wasn't carrots.
The meal didn't make sense. What I thought was the best thing about the entire segment was... Oh, wait, is that Marcus? That is Marcus.
Yeah, man.
That is Marcus.
What happened to you?
Well, my phone overheated again. It gets no warning. It just goes... cut out, and it goes, your phone's about to explode, man. It's temperature's hot. Like I was saying, Ashanti ain't no name for a wrestler. Huh?
You've got a brand new phone.
Yeah.
Why is your phone overheating?
It heats up.
What?
I don't know.
Is it Skype?
I don't know. It's probably
no, because it did it when
Skype.
It did it with the other thing we use when it's over Safari.
Oh, maybe. Do we need to go to Zoom or something? Who knows, baby?
No, I think it's the data that he's using.
It's just all the data I'm using.
Oh, so Marcus, did you get to talk about Shotzi and Rhea?
No, because he was still talking about Ashanti.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He tried to move on. But, Marcus, we've talked about Rhea Ripley beating Mercedes Martinez and how Shotzi is throwing her name in a hat to become...
You know, if you guys already did, just listen to my comments for the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. We could just move on, baby.
But Marcus, I'm sorry. I know you want to do that, Marcus, but guess what? We have audio listeners who want to listen to the show audio. They would love to hear what the grand finale has to say about these things. You can keep it pre-baby.
Tune in to exclusive content.
Maybe they don't have YouTube.
Hey.
Maybe they don't have YouTube. Just Marcus, that's all we ask for, baby. Just give them a little bit.
If you have access to podcasts, you have access to YouTube.
Well, okay, well, fine. We'll go back.
It's very easier. But hold on, I'll chime in. Shotzi and Io. Io's gonna beat the shit out of her, and it's gonna be quick. And it's a good transition opponent until Io and Rhea strike for. We have to fight once more. And the Battle of the Badasses was exactly that. It was a Battle of the Badasses. I was so amped up and hyped for this match. It was amazing. And I think at the end of it, Robert Snow dropped Mercedes Martinez from his brand.
I don't think she did, but whatever. But now, Marcus, you came back at the perfect time. We're talking about the dinner at the Garganos, and I know you spoke on this before, but I thought the true MVP of the dinner was you know what? It was Johnny Gargano being put in a situation by his wife where he has to try to be nice to somebody that he can't stand. And you know what? He put the smile on his face. He opened up that door, and he couldn't even wait a couple of seconds before he took a shot. Talk about, you didn't bring no pizza? And I was like, you damn right.
Yeah. The shade he was in full shade mode, and you had to respect it. But she should have came over with somebody else too. I like, you going up to the Gargano's house, Johnny gonna be there. And Johnny ain't shit. She could have got her ass beat by two Garganos in the same house over some fried spaghetti.
It was not fried spaghetti, Marcus. It was spaghetti and salad, man. But she didn't care.
There was no meatballs in that thing. It was just a bunch of sauce.
It was a
bunch of sauce from a Hunt's can on top of some wet noodles. I bet you those noodles were stale and everything.
You're giving him too much credit, Eric.
It was a meat bolognese, man. I'm telling you. It was a meat bolognese.
Given what she's put on the plate recently on Dinner at the Garganos, you are giving her way too much credit.
I'm just saying, man.
You can't cook. But Tegan Knox, one, having the Garganos break their TV and then running into the night is the funniest thing too, because who knows what could have happened to her. She just disappeared out that door into the night. Like, it was like, this is the only way it's gonna end it. I think we need to have a match inside the Gargano's house.
Wow. I feel like Gargano, he gonna have a hit squad on her. She broke that TV, man, because even though he took the TV and he saw the screen, he was hurt. Now we need to talk about the meat of the sandwich of NXT, because you had the first piece of bread, Finn Balor and Adam Cole going at it. Then you had the other piece of bread, Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez. But in between were the allegations. We had our boy Velveteen Dream losing to Adonis, as Marcus will not call him Ashanti.
Did he lose?
No, I mean he won. Sorry, but he lost.
He didn't lose.
He lost it to the
Ashanti Adonis. He didn't lose to no Tahuti Miles. I don't care what his name is.
And then we had Austin.
Here's my question. Did you know that Ashanti Adonis was Tahuti Miles?
Marcus, I knew that dude looked familiar, but I was going to take him as being Adonis, and I was like, I don't care what his name is.
So, as I explained on the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, is that as a black man, I knew it was Tahuti. He looked like Tahuti, but I had to look it up to make sure, because I did not want to be a black man confused about black people. Going like, God damn.
And I
excuse.
I thought it was Tahuti Miles, but then I was questioning whether I was being racist or not.
Yeah.
But let me ask a question. If Denzel DeJournette shows up with a new name, would you guys know the difference?
Yeah.
But for Dawkins, yeah. Because Dawkins is fat.
Oh, you're right. He does look like Dawkins. You're right.
He's Dawkins.
But you see how easily they could have replaced Dawkins with Denzel DeJournette and no one would even knew anything. Just say it.
They would have, Eric. They would have.
But I think for me,
nothing gets by wrestling fans.
Something does get by wrestling fans, and it's just that they're unbridled biasness for the black man. When you see all the tweets and all the things about fire Velveteen this, fire Velveteen that, but you don't see one goddamn tweet about firing Austin Theories, who has the same exact allegations. It pisses me off.
Blatant racism, man.
And Manny,
racism,
I'm going to agree with you.
bullshit.
Sister is greater than Moesha. As Marcus explained on the show that the Norwoods don't get no love in my house. But Marcus, these allegations, Marcus.
Huh?
These allegations, man. Would you put these guys on?
I don't care about them. If the police ain't doing nothing, if the lawyers ain't involved, if no one being sued for it, if TMZ ain't reporting on it, this shit ain't real.
But would you have kept him off of TV for at least 3 months before you put him back on there?
What?
Okay.
What? They hot in the streets. They hot on social media. Fire Velveteen Dream hashtag. Fuck it. Let's roll with that.
I hate when someone's instigating it. I've seen the ones that start instigating. Can we get this trending again?
Oh,
fuck you.
Yeah. You know,
Fuck a dick.
This is not trending again. Let's get this trending again.
This was, even though, you know, the most racist offensive moment of the week, maybe the NFL doing the national anthem or the unity, the bonding and unity, and getting booed in the Chiefs game, it's still not as racist as the Velveteen Dream and Austin Theory scenario.
That is so true. That is so true. And now we need to get to our final talk about, and that's Monday Night Raw, what actually started the week. And, you know, Monday Night Raw had a lot of stuff that happened, but nothing really felt that important. I mean, I think the true talk about Monday Night Raw was the interaction between Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Keith Lee. First, Keith Lee is still being booked as a monster because he stopped the RKO from being applied. Manny, when you saw Keith Lee stop the RKO, did you have an oh shit moment?
No, he did get RKO'd, and then
the first attempt though he didn't.
Because then Randy got Claymore'd the fuck out.
Yes, he did. But the first one, he went for it. Randy went for the RKO without trying to soften up the big man, and the big man just hit a power squat. Was like, not today, man, not today. Did you like that moment?
I'm enjoying this push of Keith Lee, but we all know it's going to happen. Vince is going to get tired, and then Keith Lee is going to be thrown to the side.
So Marcus, Randy got Claymore all throughout the night. He even got Claymore in the ring in the back where I guess they practice promos or something because he doesn't have any front ropes. Are you looking forward to this match? Because Adam Pearce couldn't do anything with Drew, who claimed he was trying to find the exit to the arena, but it kept leading him to wherever Randy showed up.
Well, no, it was that, and he left his phone several times, and then picked up the wrong phone another time. I don't know why he's a liar and just say, I ain't leaving. He didn't have to do this. But I did enjoy Randy getting kicked. And the last one was probably the best when Randy was in his I'm in some short pants, and that's pretty much what I show up into work with is my wrestling tights and these basketball shorts in public so people don't think I'm naked out in the streets. So when he got that last one, it was great, and it was entertaining. But I do hate the fact that Drew McIntyre is not selling whatever injury his doctor is claiming he's had.
Well, Marcus,
fractured jaw.
He was just talking.
Let me also point out that WWE's not selling it too well either because they announced next week it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee. So I guess that fractured jaw has healed up quite nicely. It was like, okay.
Well, it was a fractured skull earlier.
I still think that these three have been working very well with each other. I'm enjoying the overall storyline with them, and I think it's the one storyline that is leading on Raw. The next storyline that's going on in Raw.
Can I pause and ask you one thing?
Go ahead, Marcus, because I haven't answered.
Should Keith Lee still be involved in this storyline? Do you think it's a good thing or a plus? Like it was nice the first week, but he has no place involvement right now.
Well,
he should just be beating up some of the undercard.
Let me just tell you, I think
he should get Dolph Ziggler.
We will have our answers, I think, come Monday after he fights Drew McIntyre, because I think that's where he'll get removed out of this storyline.
Man, I'm using my air conditioner. I'm starting up my car using air conditioner, man. It's starting to get hot in here.
You should have had that. Your phone would never overheat. But Marcus, speaking of things getting hot, Marcus, I called it last week on the show. I knew what happened. I knew Cedric had got jumped in. He is finally bought into the Hurt business, Marcus. And are you satisfied that Cedric is in the Hurt business?
It took him too long. This was dragged out too long. He could have did this 8 jumpers ago.
But Marcus, if he would,
I don't know what was so special about last week's jumping.
But Marcus,
I need to be a part of this.
If he would have did it quicker, you would never got Detective Benjamin trying to say, "I'm gonna find out if you lie, boy. If I find out that you're not really part of this, I'm gonna whoop your ass." And I'm like,
what a sleuth.
Manny, do you even care about?
He did the same thing that every black man does. If you lying to me, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah.
They never do.
No, they don't.
Never do.
Manny, what about you? Cedric in the Hurt business? Yay, nay.
It's good because he's done with the broke business.
He did. He said, "I'm done with the broke business." I think
that team definitely needed some youth. I'm not even sure how old Cedric is. I'm assuming mid or early 30s, but like all three of them are mid 40s, so they needed some youth and some pace to that team.
And the sad part about it, because you really don't know how old Cedric is, but he does look fairly young because black don't crack. But the thing that I really have issues.
Bassett, where you at?
I really have issues.
You know Gabrielle Union's 47 years old.
I did, Marcus, but I can't stand her. I can't stand her either, Marcus. I know, but Marcus, you go watch a show?
Cedric's 31.
You go watch a show, Marcus? You watching her and Jessica Alba?
It's already been on Spectrum for like 2 years.
Oh, well, I don't
care. As an exclusive content. And just because we're out of content due to COVID, they're putting this on national TV.
Well, with that being said, the biggest problem I have with the Hurt Business is that they don't have anybody to feud with. Nobody wanted to see Ricochet team up with Apollo Crews that teamed up with the Viking Raiders, and then Ibar goes and kills himself. And he's like that. I mean, I don't even know what happened to that man. I don't know, but he was like that. I'm like, what the hell happened?
He was doing a Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I just don't know if this can go anywhere with them. Do you think something can happen? No, well, not the Hurt Business, but the Hurt Business rivals are kind of weak.
Yeah, but who'd you put against them?
I don't know.
There's no tag teams unless you bring in the miniature men of the Undisputed Era, the only remaining faction.
Hold on, it's Retribution. They still out there in them streets.
That's true. They
still in them streets. Maybe it's the Hurt Business versus Retribution, and we finally get that war. But to be honest, you just put them in the underground. Just give them the underground. Get Shane McMahon out of my Raw underground.
So, this was, Mark, you brought up Retribution. This is the one thing I had a hard time trying to understand about Retribution this week. They're supposed to be the rogue faction, but how come they have a Jumbotron? Like, they're
exclusive to Raw.
But they had a Retribution Jumbotron. I'm like, you're trying to get Retribution, but did someone sign them? I'm like,
No, they're hacking shit, Eric. They're hacking.
Okay.
They have all the technology. They can do violence and they can hack. It's like the movie Hackers.
I love that movie. Speaking of hacking shit,
that movie is pure trash.
But I still love it.
Pure trash.
I still love it.
And it's one of those things you watch it and go, "This is pure trash. This is not how computers work." And then you go, "There's a charm to this."
Speaking of having a charm, it was now time for WWE to try to rectify their tag team division, which is suffering mightily. It's when Nakamura and Cesaro shows up on Monday Night Raw, and they challenge the Street Profits, who were fighting Garza and Andrade, it looks like finally Andrade and Garza is done. Manny, this has been just like Alexander has been the longest membership gain ever, Garza and Andrade has been the longest breakup I've ever seen. Are we finally happy that it's over, and aren't we glad that the Bachelorette is not there anymore?
Well, I think the first thing we need to point out is Garza got a new tracksuit.
He did.
Boy, look at Sean. He saved up his money.
Which is probably the tracksuit to signify I'm done with you. And
he was dumb when they came out. Oh, go ahead.
But like, where did they go? It just doesn't. It doesn't make. I have no idea what their plans are. They've broken up pretty much every tag team they've had this in the last 2 weeks.
Manny, you know what? I'm seeing a reshuffling of the roster approaching very soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if Andrade went back down to NXT, even possibly Garza going back to NXT. There's a lot of stuff that they need to figure out what they're going to do with some of their people that they don't know yet, because they still have too much talent, but they don't have their talent in the right places. However, Nakamura, Cesaro, and then on SmackDown, the Street Profits going into the championship lounge and letting any type of rapscallion into that lounge is why you don't let them show up. Marcus, were you pissed like I was with Cesaro and Nakamura about what the Street Profits did to the championship lounge? That was a lounge only for champions.
It was disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
Disrespect.
There were no champions in there. Chad Gable should not be in anybody's room. He ain't never won shit in his whole life. Yeah, he's an Olympian, but don't give me that shit.
He couldn't even cash in a King's bounty.
But back real, it was all these ragamuffins and ragamuffins back there with retribution. It was disgraceful, and I'm ashamed to be a black man in America that we were represented so poorly by the Street Profits, your Raw Tag Team Champions. Outrageous. But what is even more outrageous is Nakamura and Cesaro showing up on Raw talking about, yeah, we're using that seasonal invitational wild card rule that you can use and you can show up on any show once if you have this rule. That is some bullshit. Who has used this rule?
I think the last person to use it was Charlotte.
Yeah.
She was just abusing shit. She was the champion and using it.
But at the same time, you act like you don't want to see Cesaro and Nakamura versus the Street Profits next week on Monday Night Raw.
I do, but I would just rather for them to save that for Classic Champions. But they better give me a unification title. I want unification.
Manny, are you looking forward to Nakamura and Cesaro going against the Street Profits, or would you like to see the unification where this tag teams could go to whatever show they want to go to?
You know it's going to be on Raw, and you know you're not going to get a real finish, and you know it's going to be leading into Clash of Champions. So hopefully Marcus's idea of a unification match would be a good idea going into Clash of Champions.
Now, Manny, I'll stick with you because you say Monday Night Raw doesn't give you real finishes. However, on this episode of Monday Night Raw, we got the true finish, and it's a sad day for, I think, both you and Marcus, is that Peyton Royce defeated Billy Kay. Rather quickly, by the way, in a pretty lackluster style match. Are you sad that Peyton Royce is now on her own?
It was a good match.
No, because if it leads to Billy Kay running riot in the underground, I am
running
for this.
Yes.
Manny, she escaped the underground. She is not trapped in the underground anymore. She made it out, and she put together some of the worst wrestling attire I've seen in a long time.
You leave Billy Kay alone.
Well, and plus,
I
hate the underground. I don't know what the underground is about. They told me I have Aleister Black and Kevin.
Don't jump into the Raw Underground. Don't jump into the Raw Underground. No. I need a petition. Save Billy Kay. Because Billy Kay on her way out.
No, I need the same people.
That looked like a firing if I've ever seen a firing in my life.
Oh no,
it's like she was going away to go start a family or something.
Yeah, that's featuring.
That looks horrible.
That's Future Endeavor. If I ain't never seen Future Endeavor,
that was a loss of losses. I ain't never seen nobody lose like that.
And there,
even in squash matches, she had no future after that.
They even have reports that WWE released like 60 people. I don't even know who the 60 people that they released, but if Billy Kay name is on there, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think they released any talent. I think they released like the workers that were furloughed.
I know,
like IRS and Gerald Briscoe.
Yeah, Briscoe. But Marcus,
they gonna show up on. What is Mike Rotunda doing in AEW's Daily Place? Having a match with Goldust tonight.
He's doing their taxes.
El Luchador Underground is not even a Lucha Underground ripoff that's good because it makes absolutely no sense. Like, you have Aleister Black versus Kevin Owens, a match that I would love to see in the ring, but then they put this.
Hold on. That was a 45-minute brawl, Eric.
A 45-minute brawl that had breaks that we don't know what happened in between those breaks. I'm just saying, like, in mid-fight, it's like it goes to commercial break. Oh, we'll be back to the underground. And then they're not even in the same thing. I'd rather have a real match. And then it ends with Babatunde getting... Like, I hate it. I hate the underground. I really do. I really hate the underground.
I'm sorry. I love the underground each week when we go into the Raw Underground. I love seeing I'm Not Taco Fall, the security guard at the door with Shane McMahon. They talk about we got some good stuff tonight. And then they smoking weed. As the door opens, you got that cheesy music playing. Then you get some fights. Random people in there first, and then you get to the main event of Kevin Owens and Aleister Black. One with Kevin Owens following the script and saying, "I still don't like you, Shane." And then they go and they fight to the death in there, and they have this pull apart. And I enjoy the underground. Every week, I want to know what's gonna happen in that underground.
Can I ask you a question, Marcus? This is where I'm really confused about the underground. No, I'm going to ask Manny because Manny's a sensible man because you seem to be very passionate about the underground. I don't know where Manny allegiance is yet. Manny, as we saw, before the underground started, we had Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon had an interaction. They still don't like each other, correct?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Shane lets Kevin Owens into the underground, and then the Not Taco Fall lets Shane into the underground, and it's like, we're going to have a good night. So, the next scene we have in the underground is Aleister Black in the ring beating up somebody, and you hear someone says, we're just waiting for Kevin Owens to show up in the underground. We already saw him walk into the underground. Where did he go when he walked into the underground?
There's a long path, Eric.
It ain't a long path.
It's so underground. The door may be here, but the underground, you're probably still gonna go keep going down.
Keep going down those long stairs beyond the sewers and the lizards.
So you said
keep walking.
So you saying that he made a left instead of the right, and that's why he was late to the fight?
Yeah,
it is a labyrinth down there, Eric, in the underground.
So something came up on. So they announced for NXT UK this NXT Heritage Cup.
I like that cup.
But I feel like you're not gonna like the matches in it because it's a 6-round type of match and 2 out of 3 falls kind of thing, and that's already convoluted because like you're gonna have to try and get 2 falls to win.
You know what? Let me also put up Jeremy Bishop. He's with me on this one. Nothing has been explained. It's just there, and that's what the underground is. Nothing is happening. Riddick Moss got to win. Titus O'Neil was whooping the ass that he got lost to Riddick Moss, and then like, what is going on? What is going on?
Nothing has been explained about AEW in months, yet we still watch it.
and it shows how fair. Well, I watch it because I have a show, but it shows how fair I am because I hate AEW and I hate Raw Underground. So it shows you that I am not biased. Marcus is the only man that
what
likes.
What do you want them to say about an underground fighting club inside a wrestling show, which is glorifying a fight club? What do you want them to say about the underground, Eric? What could they say? Go, hey man, this is Raw Underground, where we have illegal fights where you don't have to follow the rules. You can do eye gouging and low blows, and we have cheesy music in the background. What do you need explained about what's going on back there? They are having a fight club.
You know what I need, Marcus? I need a bag of money. I need to know why people are putting their body on the line to fight for, because recognition. Because recognition don't pay my bills. I mean, You need to have somebody throwing some dollar bills in the corner, someone giving a purse, and then on top of that, we ain't never get no damn ending to the matches. It's always at the end. Here comes Shane. All right, everybody, that's the nightclub. It's over. We'll see you next week on the underground.
Maria Sheffield and Jessica Duke killed a woman. They killed a woman. You got your bitch, and Riddick Moss knocked out Titus O'Neil. Knocked him out.
Nah,
and
fam.
And Ziggler choked the guy out before, too.
Nah, fam. Nah.
I just really hate Shane McMahon in there. That's it for Raw Underground. Why is that it?
Now, Luchador, disrespect to NXT UK. You've lost 1 point into your Clash of Champions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
That patriotism kicked in.
Disrespect.
So we might as well.
I may be the deplorable. I can't even think of the word you used to me. Commissioner. Corrupt commissioner. But there I've made the ruling. Wes is already winning. Because El Luchador was a -1.
He is corrupt.
Told you, El Luchador. Can't trust him. That's how they took me in my title. Just want to point that out.
Is that his new name, Lord Manny Hayes, the corrupt commissioner?
With that being said, speaking of
taking away freedom of speech.
With someone being destroyed, we need to talk about the murdering of Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy, the disciple. Buddy Murphy. Bloody Murphy, possibly. Bloody Murphy got destroyed. Bloody Murphy got destroyed by the Mysterio family. I mean, by Mysterio Mama. Well, Mama Mysterio, that's her name.
We had Christian woman who didn't want to do anything.
We had Aaliyah.
She wasn't partaking this violence.
We had Aaliyah out there. We also had Dominic, and we also had Ray. I mean, it pays to be the son of Rey Mysterio because you're main eventing Monday Night Raw now. Did you enjoy the ending of Monday Night Raw with the beatdown by the Mysterio family, Manny?
Well, no, they've used Buddy Murphy to be a piñata. It was very rude.
I find that statement racist.
Marcus,
true.
But what about you, Marcus? Did you like Buddy Murphy being destroyed?
Well, I hope that's the end of this feud. I believe we reached the point of no return where Buddy Murphy took Seth's ass whooping for him for no apparent reason. Because this was for Seth. This is Seth's ending to the story, but Seth isn't going to get the ass whooping. He's not going to let Aaliyah hit him with a cane. He's not going to let Ray's mama, who doesn't get a name, only known as Rey Mysterio's wife, or Dominic's mother, she doesn't get a name. They just let it happen. And, I was for it. It was a feel-good ending. But it was a perfect ending to a Raw that I felt like was all over the place. It seemed like it was just a clusterfuck of shit.
And I would like to agree with Jeremy Bishop about Ray's daughter growing up, but I don't know how much she has grown up, and I don't want to become...
She's 19, Eric.
Oh, she's 19. All right, she has grown up then. I don't want... I do not want to be Velveteen or Austin Theory in this situation. So, Manny, thank you for being and letting me know that's 19. 19, yes. 19 is legal.
Eric's going, that's the most delicious cake I've seen since AEW. Wednesday.
Wow.
Imagine Eric as Luchasaurus going up to Aaliyah, talking about go eat some cake.
That's awful, man. That is awful.
A 40-year-old man going to his 19-year-old girl.
We didn't have to comment. You didn't have to bring up Jeremy's comment.
I did, because I needed to have the answer that I needed to know. I needed to know the truth. Because I didn't know, man.
It's true. Jeremy, am I a pedophile or am I not? Even Jeremy was cautious of what he was saying.
Because you know what? You don't want to be the person researching and be like, man, she is, because you don't want to feel bad. Because I just know I made fun of her for wearing heels to a beatdown. I don't understand why the plan wasn't laid out what they were going to do when they got there. They was going to rough them up.
Well, I like that Ray's wife was wearing essentially slippers.
Yes.
Not to look taller than Rey Mysterio.
But at the same,
everybody in that household is taller than Rey Mysterio.
But at the same time,
the dog is taller than Rey Mysterio in that house.
Them slides stayed on, no matter how much of an asshole she was. I was like, man, I appreciate people who can keep the slides on their feet, because I can't. I really can't. So our last we have an email this week, everyone, and it's from a person in the lumber chat. It's El Luchador. He says, "What up, guys?"
You call him the Lucha chat.
I did. Well, maybe
lumber chat.
I am not the perv because she is 19, sir.
Yeah, but you put it up. You were ready to risk it all.
No, I wasn't.
You were ready to risk it all.
I was not.
You were ready to find out if you were 16. You were gonna say,
No, if I was 16, it's no comments. You don't comment on that. That's the one thing I've learned in life, man. You don't become Velveteen. You don't become Velveteen Theory. You just don't.
As we're in the listener feedback segment, where the hell is Chris? Like, I haven't heard from the man in ages.
Well, Chris was a rampant member of you guys' show, so you guys might need to do the APB out for him. Because he didn't show up much on this show.
He did.
Here and there.
He just kept disappearing through it.
He sent 2 emails a week.
That's true.
This is one of his disappearing moments, though.
All right. What up, guys? It's El Champion writing in with some thoughts. Number 1, who do you think will be the first AEW wrestler to jump to WWE? Marcus, who do you think will be the first to jump?
Man, I've said this over and over, and I'm going to say it again. But I'm going to not give it. I'm going to say the first AEW, I will say original that has never has been featured very little in WWE. And I'm going to say WWE may throw the bag at MJF for no reason.
All right. And Manny, who do you think will be the first AEW wrestler to jump to WWE if they do make the jump?
Britt Baker. I think they'll take Britt Baker.
You know what? And I think also, I think Britt Baker's a good pick. I'm going to go with Big Swole. I mean, with Cedric being put into the Hurt business, maybe she sees that he's finally making some type of strides at WWE, and she might take her talents there. They might have better benefits.
I think either woman could go because I know they haven't invested deeply into the women's contract, so they're probably not on long-term deals.
Exactly. And if I had to go with a male wrestler, I would probably say that my first selection of probably somebody jump would probably be Adam Page. I think if Adam Page jumped to NXT, that might be a big deal for people who watch NXT.
Well, he's collectively, one of them.
He's not
management.
He's not an executive though. You just never know.
I don't see that happening.
I see something going wrong because they're too open with their talent in terms of like creative control. So like the one moment they start pushing back when they're gonna have to at some point, it's gonna rub someone the wrong way. And I don't think Adam Page will be the guy, but I feel like someone like MJF who can think for himself will probably move or jump.
But
like, why am I not champion?
Well,
why am I not champion?
He says he plans on being in AEW for 25 years.
Months.
Number 2, what is your favorite non-lyric wrestling theme? Mine's is Macho Man and Nakamura. Marcus, I'll turn to you. What is your favorite
Nakamura now has lyrics though.
Before it didn't, no.
I'm going with Stone Cold Steve Austin with the da and Finn Balor with the the repeating loop of
Manny, what about
Demon
yourself?
Finn Balor.
Recently it was Kevin Owens, but all the time I think it was Owen Hart. That was a bumping tune.
You know what? I didn't really have one going into it. I was about to say the Undisputed Era because I do like that theme song, but Marcus is right. Finn Balor's, anytime I hear it, no matter what part I'm in the house, I gotta go. Like it's like it's one of those things. Yeah, it's a great theme. I mean,
okay, just to jump on that question, favorite entrance music with lyrics?
Oh, Randy Orton's voices.
Jinder Mahal, whatever the hell they're talking about.
Wolfpack, baby.
Oh yeah, the Wolfpack is dope. Dope, man. You might end up in the body bag.
I just want to point out though, as you see, with lyrics, we had no problems with answering those questions. You know what? Eddie Guerrero's Latino Heat was good to me too.
Well, one of the greatest theme songs of all time isn't even a wrestling theme song. It was when Hogan had that ultimate flex of having Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child, come out to the ring, which was just dope. It counts as an entrance song. It is so dope. It was the best Hogan theme song. It kills Real American.
So number 3,
it was the best overall entrance though. One of the best overall entrances with the integration of the music and then the black and white.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
it was just great.
I need you guys to take the time and put your thinking cap on because El Luchador is about to hit you with a very, very hard question right now. You're going to have to think hard. I want to know before I ask this question, who's...
I feel like that's quite offensive to Jewish people.
Based on your hat, that you put your mask on your head, I'm going to ask you this question first from El Luchador, Marcus.
Yes.
WWE
hated it.
WWE can come off stale and repetitive simply because they split their rosters into 3 shows. Do you think it would be better to have all 3 rosters together? This would stack the women's and tag division easily and give us a constant fresh matchups. So Marcus, should we merge again?
Well, if you do go with the merger, you're gonna get that main theme of how come so and so isn't on TV? How come they're not booking this guy? And then you're gonna have AEW Dark all over again. So I still like the brand split. I just think it's just not even. I think it's just like SmackDown has all the good characters.
But doesn't that
always has a few characters and it's just all over the place?
But doesn't this always happen with the brand split? Because it really depends on how the writers tend to book other people and how much time they invest into people. Because it's oftentimes we can say, oh, Raw had all the talent, and then next they take the talent, they put it on SmackDown, and SmackDown has all the talent. Manny, do you want one show, or do you like the split and just want some more creativity?
I think the split benefits so many people because that allows you to be showcased a bit more. Whereas, like, if you had everyone together, there's only so much time to get everyone in. And so, like, you're like, imagine all the top people on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. They're the ones that would be featured, and you wouldn't get the movement of, like, let's say on NXT, you wouldn't get Bronson Reed coming up. You wouldn't have well, you might have Damian Priest, he's a champion, but you wouldn't have time for our boy who hasn't been on TV for a while, Cameron Grimes. They wouldn't make him
go. He must have went to the moon.
Yeah, they wouldn't make it onto shows. So, like, I feel you would probably have to stay with the brand split, especially with how big their roster is. And I think you're going to find that AEW, the way it is now, is going to find that one show isn't enough, and it really isn't, because you're going to have the amount of matches that's spilling onto Dark, where it's almost sometimes like 12.
But doesn't AEW take that page that AEW Dark is another show, and that's where you can go watch it at and get the talent that you don't see?
Yeah, but they're all squash matches. It's basically like watching main event.
That is also true. I'm agreeing with Marcus. I do like the brand split. I just feel like that they just need to do a better job of really making it more compelling TV. Like, I think the biggest problem with wrestling right now is that no one is really investing any time to give us any storylines or anything to really be invested in. Like, when you go to AEW, going into their all-out pay-per-view, there was only about 2 or 3 storylines that you had. You had the Britt Baker and the Big Swole storyline, which was like, well, whatever that is. Then you had the Elite storyline with Omega and all that in there. And then you had MJF and Jon Moxley. After that, it's just a bunch of random matches of everybody's fighting each other. And it's just like, I think we as consumers of entertainment, you want to have something that is compelling to watch. I mean, that's even done in real sports. Like, when you go to the Thursday night football game, the matchup was Patrick Mahomes versus Deshaun Watson, you know, the battle of the 2 paid-up quarterbacks. So, I mean, that's what it was. And did it live up to the hype? No. In the NBA, the matchup that they're going for is the Battle of LA, the Lakers versus the Clippers. And that's what you want to market. And I think right now, wrestling, outside of the SmackDown show, they're not marketing anything. When you think about Monday Night Raw, what is the marketing attraction to it? SmackDown, we got the big dog. Is Monday Night Raw McIntyre? Is it Raw Underground? Is it Keith Lee? You don't know, because each week it changes. But we know when we tune in to SmackDown, the main star of that show will be Roman Reigns, the big dog, and everybody else will fall into line. And they need to figure out how to do that for all of their shows.
I don't know. I feel Bayley kind of has top position at the moment as well. Bayley and Sasha had top position alongside. I would say alongside Roman, but they were running SmackDown while the big dog was away.
Marcus, you got feedback, or somebody got some feedback on?
Feedback?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like Marcus.
It's Marcus.
Like what? What you hear?
You hear me talk. Oh, it stopped now.
It stopped.
Huh. Sabotaging my points, that's what it was. It happens.
Your point made no sense. It made no sense. I don't know, I feel like saying that. But the main character of Raw is Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Probably more Randy Orton than Drew McIntyre. Followed by the Mysterio family and whatever the Street Profits are involved in.
And that's the problem. Everything on Monday Night Raw feels like whatever.
Yeah. SmackDown seems control and concise, like they care. But they have they at one point they had the weakest brand, but then when they brought AJ Styles over there, Sami Zayn returned, Ed Roman returned, and Sasha and Bayley are back to being an exclusive SmackDown brand. They have all the important characters right now, and things could change. Who knows?
Well, one thing that can't change is that this is the conclusion of the show, and since my echo has popped out of someplace, I'm assuming when Marcus turned his car on, that's where the echo came in. When he decided he needed to be cool. But that's beside the point.
I turned my car on at least 30 minutes ago.
And that's when the echo started.
Well, let's be clear. At least his phone hasn't blown up.
That is also true. But overall, wrestling happened. SmackDown was still my favorite show this week. I'm okay with that. I hope Miro is successful, but I don't see it being a good thing for him. But I hope I'm wrong in this situation. You guys can let us know what you think, and you can email us at DaSharpshooters@gmail.com. That's DA Sharpshooters@gmail.com. When hopefully you don't have more feedback like you're getting right now, because I can hear myself talking, and I can fix this by just turning off my earphones, but I'm not going to do that. Or
why don't you do that? Why don't you do that, Jack? Why you gotta hear your own voice?
we would appreciate you guys if you would like, subscribe, and if you want to know anytime we produce a new show, because it's going to be kind of hectic with Marcus being up north in the brush fires, you'll be the first one to be notified. But
is that it?
And then also, Manny has a Reddit that he created, the Sharpshooters at DSPN. You can keep the conversation going there. He just posted that into the chat. And Marcus needs to get some sleep. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And this show could have ended a lot better instead of you talking about all the shit we have. Buy our stuff. Subscribe to our channel. Watch the Untitled Man Show. Subscribe. Leave a review of the podcast. Join the Frapper Map. Do whatever you can.
Good Lord, the Frapper Map.
15 years we've been doing this. We can end the show with a bang, baby. We can end it with a bang.
Why do you always have to bring up
the grand finale?
Why do you always got to bring up the Frapper Map, though?
Because it was legendary.
All right, it's next week. Oh, next week might not happen. It's Sharpie's wife's birthday, so I might be taking off. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You son of a bitch. I don't take off for your wife's birthday. You see me doing that?
That means me and you will have to host a separate Manny and Marcus show on Saturday.
No, I can't have.
Maybe I'll take that day off, Manny.
I can't. I
take the day off
because
Friday night is brutal. Apparently, people like to go out on Friday night and gamble. Who do?
On that note, until next week, stay sharp.